Hacksaw Ridge.
It's
Stars.
good. I liked it.
Andrew Garfield. Vince Vaughn.
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
That one dude. Who's the captain? He was like the
Sam
Australian
Worthington.
guy.
Makes his first acting appearance in like 12 years. Did you guys think he was just too much of like a good-looking, like, awesome guy to actually be a human being? Like at the end of the movie, he's like, "I knew you were." Like he just was like too Clint Eastwood for this movie.
I don't know. I thought he was good.
He was the one guy who was like, he's too fucking beautiful to be a real human being. And he has like one of those haircuts that I've seen
really
in
like
a lot
this
of
guy,
movies
don't
right
you?
now.
You
No, he's got
got
one of those
beautiful.
No, he's got one of those haircuts that it's like they're pretending to make it like that Wolfenstein haircut where they're pretending to make it like they're pretending to make it an old fashioned haircut, but it's a new haircut. Like they made this guy look like amazing. They preened this guy up more than like.
Let's just
tell the audience what this movie's about.
It's basically Andrew Garfield plays Desmond Doss, who's a real life war hero who, for one, he was a medic who never touched a gun, never killed anyone, but in the Battle of Okinawa, he saved 75 lives from Hacksaw Ridge overnight. And this is basically the story of that. Well, half the story of that, and half the story of a kind of melodrama, corny movie. But the second half is great. The first half is really melodrama. And this movie got amazing reviews, so we're all really looking forward to it.
It's a Oscar movie. Yeah, I know, but like the hype going into this movie was possible Oscar movie. Andrew Garfield would be breaking into all these dramatic movies in 99 Home Befores, and you know. It was pretty good. For Andrew Garfield though, now he's doing Silence too. I think right now he's proving that he's becoming one of the top actors in the world right now. I think he's really going to move into that area.
I'll say this is a good movie. I'm not bashing it whatsoever.
It's a war movie, and I always kind of look for these war movies. I'm always kind of excited.
I'll say this:
so
that
no
the
matter
movie
what they enjoy, man,
is that the second half of the film, all the war stuff, all the
far better than the first half.
As much I actually liked the first half, but definitely the second half is much.
I wouldn't say
better.
hated it.
The second half isn't great. It's a little bit corny at times. I'll definitely get that, but in my mind, all the performances are pretty good, if not a little bit over the top. And it's like a 7 out of a B movie in the first half. But the second half is just Mel Gibson doing what Mel Gibson does, which is just insanely
sadism and violence.
I was just gonna say great action scenes, but sure.
Well, he did do Passion of the Christ.
I know, and I don't care.
Yeah, okay, so this movie, the whole first half of this movie is just... The dialogue is really where it struggles because it just spends the whole time having characters just give speech. Like, instead of having any kind of back and forth...
I felt like him and
back and forth, relaying their beliefs, all they do in this movie is just kind of give these giant, eloquent Mark Twain-esque speeches back and forth to each other. Instead of having any real dialogue, they just literally blatantly splat out their exact opinion on everything, going back and forth until Hugo Weaving walks in with this what's it called? That movie. I just made a good point and it sounded stupid. No, I'm not done yet. Until Hugo Weaving comes in with the Ex Machina letter that basically solves all of his problems. Not to spoil anything, but basically Hugo Weaving ends the whole first half of the movie by basically just coming in with a letter that fixes everything.
It's not that they because I'm assuming that's just how it played out, that he got a letter from his ex-captain or whatever.
No.
Okay, but let me just... Okay, if we assume Mel Gibson isn't lying, even though he does that a lot with history, but anyway, if we just assume he didn't in this case, then they should have brought up the fact earlier that like he knew like the captain or like the current general, like he served under him or something like that. But instead they just do oh wait, I know the general who's in charge of this. And
I think Hugo Weaving was probably the worst part.
I really don't think
Hugo Weaving
I thought he was great.
Really over the top.
He basically plays Desmond Doss, Andrew Garfield's drunken war father. If he gets the nomination for that, I'm probably gonna get into a drunken stupor and hate my entire life like he does in this movie. He's so bad in this. He just has this really kind of laid on thick accent, and every single line of dialogue for me, even though out of Hugo Weaving what normally sounds awesome and epic, every line of dialogue is just flat and silly.
Can you do an impression of what he was trying to
he sounds like he's got like molasses coming out of his mouth in the worst fucking possible way. It's just he's bad. He's bad.
Like,
he's bad in the movie. He's a good actor. God awful.
yeah, it's
he's
just
almost
the
as bad
problem
as
with
this
the
shot
scenes-
right now of us here.
The problem
Yeah,
with
it's a bad
I'll say
part,
with
right?
Hugo Weaving's character, and particularly a lot of
Keep
the stuff
talking.
in the first half, is that it lacks a certain subtlety.
Oh yes.
It's
Mark.
definitely not subtle, but it's. I don't know.
Or
The
good.
performances were really good. I thought they did a good job at
The
showing how this
performances-
guy just kind of got crapped on early on. It kind of sucked.
I don't
for
know.
him.
I think
Could go to his wedding and that type of thing. I thought they did a good job of building. I thought Vince Vaughn,
Yeah,
especially
Vince
in that
Vaughn's great.
that boot camp scene, which Nick
Okay.
like yelled the entire the theater
It was-
shook when
I
he
found
yelled
it
it. 'Cause he
legitimately
thought it was
funny
so
because
yeah.
because it
Speaking
goes
of,
with Vince Vaughn was kind of being a badass.
Yeah, speaking of the boot camp scene, another problem I have with this movie is, for one, all the characters are just kind of archetypes
Yeah.
of war movies. Like, they all come from each specific area, and they all, like, their
Yeah, no,
accents
it
and
definitely
everything
had some
are
of that
indicative
Corey
of where
type
they're
stuff.
from. And this movie just kind of hits every war movie check mark out there. Like, you know, he's this really humble, nice guy, and when he goes to war, the drill sergeant's just a dick and funny to everybody, and the war scenes are kind of, as good as they are, really reminiscent of Saving Private Ryan. This
Yeah.
movie kind of doesn't bring.
I'd say the
a whole
second
lot
half
new.
isn't. I'd say the second half breaks from like the typical stuff. I think
Yeah,
the first half was
yeah.
fairly like kind of unbrokenish and like kind of typical, but I think the second half was a lot different. I
The
think
second half
battle
wasn't
scenes were
different, but it was
nuts.
definitely better. Like,
Yeah, it
just
was a
like,
lot-
it was
to
very
me,
much like Star Wars, Force Awakens, and Creed, where it did something that we've
Uh-huh.
already seen before. Well, it's
It's
well,
just the
Force
fact
Awakens is the best movie of 2015, and,
Well,
and
Creed's
everyone
better
agrees
than
with
it.
me. Everyone agrees with me. No, it's not an animated movie, you child. This could escalate quickly, so I'm gonna let you let. It's not an
That's
animated
Hugo
movie.
Weaving.
Okay, so guys, let's just answer the question. What do we think of Mel Gibson's war porn? Like all the violence and all the.
It
That was a
It
great
was
thing to
great.
call it, Nick, for real people getting killed in that. But
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think it was
Yeah.
war porn. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was
not
really
war.
accurate
No, it didn't
and
come
well
off like
done.
that in my mind.
I think the second half movie, all the really hard scenes that actually allowed people like Vince Vaughn and Andrew Garfield to act a way better job of showing off the actual emotion of their characters and the feelings of their characters than any of these giant speeches. It
Yeah,
was so much.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
better.
to
I'll
me,
give
like,
you
like,
like there was a point where like rather than going to he does all this stuff to make sure he doesn't kill everyone, and then at the end he just picks up the rifle because he thinks someone's about to come after him, just real quickly. And then Vince Vaughn's like, "Oh, probably not a good time for you to start landing." So he just puts
Yeah,
it
it
back
was
down.
Yeah,
it was
for me,
definitely.
It's cool.
I think the movie, it just did the second half did so much of a better job with subtly doing it by him just saying, you
Give
know,
me
God,
one
give
more.
me one
Give me
more
one.
over
Love
and
that.
over
Yeah,
again,
that was
instead of
amazing.
him just having these giant speeches all the time about God and
I
religion.
think
just
Andrew
the kind of
Garfield was pretty
repetition of
great
that.
though, and I think that this was at least for Mel Gibson
second
wise,
half.
the like the religion wise was at least it was more put in a way where it was more so like his values
Yeah,
than just like
plus the-
religion.
Well, he
religion,
has
religion.
to. Like, he
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, I know it
He
has to be
literally-
at least some of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was.
Well, like, no, but he can't overdo the whole religion thing with how, like, fucked up his whole personal life is.
yeah, no, that's true. But I'm saying, good that he did that. And I thought, like, yeah, he did a lot of good. Like, I thought Andrew Garfield was really good and believable. And the action, it was just tons of surprising stuff. Like that first shot, they all go in and everything's blown up badly, and then just out of nowhere, it's like 5 explosions, like 16 guys just get shot simultaneously. It's just it's nuts. And from that point on, it's crazy.
One-
It's so loud in the
One
theater.
flaw with the action scene is, the great thing about the movie is that it was loud.
Okay, no, but I'm saying it just went from like nothing happening to just
Yes,
explosions
I'm
and crazy.
fucking with you.
Yeah.
Nuts. And
You're saying?
The one problem with the action scenes, I'd say, is probably every once in a while it's a little bit over the top. Like, there's a part where the one of the main characters picks up a dead body that's basically like no arms. That's basically
it's
the
kinda like action movies.
that's
too.
basically the just a flesh wound guy from Monty Python.
Oh,
The guy
yeah.
was just kind of a nub. Like, he picks up one of those and uses it as a shield while he shoots at people, and that was
pretty ridiculous.
ridiculous.
It was pretty cool though. Like,
It was cool, but it was like
also
watching.
silly.
It was like watching part of Civil War. Like, it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that
but-
dude got stuff done.
And I think the one how they portray the Japanese people, they do an okay job. Like,
They do a pretty
throughout,
good
except
job.
for the ending where are we doing spoilers here?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay,
do
for
spoilers.
spoiler, the Japanese people lose, and when they lose, they have their kind of main people in very slow motion pull out knives and cut their own throats.
That is what they did.
That is
though.
what they did.
Like not all of them,
Give
but
them
like apparently some of the authors, that's what they would do.
Yeah, I guess if they do,
Like
that
in
was what they did.
Letters
but
from
it's just
Iwo
kind
Jima,
of,
they pretty much all do that.
no, I get that. I get that that's what apparently what they. I get that it is like what they did, but it's kind of just like what did that have to do with the movie? What did that?
Yeah,
have to
no,
do with
it was a bit of a focus shift, but he couldn't just to get the action to happen. All that would have to to get the action to work. It didn't just have to be all he couldn't just only show the main character all the time because he was just going out there saving people. He wasn't really killing people. Also, I thought that they just did a good job of making the action really brutal, a lot of just hand to hand stuff that you don't normally see in these movies.
I think it was a good job doing there was always you could always tell what as chaotic as it was, there was always goals and objectives. So when they were taking the bunker, or when Desmond Doss was trying to get a certain person.
Yeah, there were stakes in the second.
I think action scenes need to kind of have a structure. Need to, as chaotic as they can look, they need to have some kind of structure to them to actually have real tension to them and have any kind of stakes. And I think this movie did a great job of doing that.
So I also think that when the Japanese counterattacked and it just kind of goes out and you just see all of them. It's just literally just a wave sprinting and after them. You literally just feel that they're just coming for them and they're screwed and they have to get out of there. And I thought Mel Gibson did a great job.
Yeah, so I'll say this that one last question I'll ask before we give our ratings is that do you guys think Andrew Garfield should get the best actor?
No.
I think he should be lightly considered. I don't know if he should
I don't know how poor or great the best actor on is, but comparing maybe his performance in this
to Colin Farrell.
No, not even Colin Farrell. To anybody who was a best actor nominee last year, I can think of maybe 4 or 5 people who wouldn't get nominated. Who I'd put I thought he was pretty good. I thought he was good enough to be this was a good adaptation of this real life human being, but I don't think he does a whole in the second half he does a good job acting.
I thought he did a really good job playing kind of the nice.
I thought
guy
he did. He was very pretty good, but good enough to the point where I don't think he was made the movie any worse.
You're
but I
saying
don't
he's
think he
maybe
made the
a
movie
Charlie Sheenish type thing
in Wall Street. Yeah, sort of. He was just just good enough to not be a negative to the movie. He was fine, but he should absolutely not get a nomination.
I thought he was really good. I'd be happy to see him get
I don't
one.
think
I
should get. I don't think anything in this movie should get a nomination.
One thing that it could get some stuff for just costume and those types of things for just the great action, the scope. Yeah, it could get stuff for that, and I think outside chance, and it's not going to happen regardless, but outside chance, maybe Mel Gibson for a director, just because of how great he did some of the shots and that.
I like
maybe some
the action scenes were pretty great, but I just think directing has a lot to do with the
I thought he got a lot out of his actors too.
Yeah, sure, but I think the directing the slow scenes is just as important as directing the action scenes, and keep putting the slow scenes were just shot I don't know, just completely averaging the camera.
You could argue that I know someone was saying there was a bit of a disconnect because of how just slowly it went up, but it just was that. It made the switch from just slow kind of character stuff to the action just that much more of have an effect.
I think if we're to kind of give our final thoughts, I think as much as I've ripped on the movie, by the time it ended, I was on the verge of thinking that I love this movie. That's how good the ending was. That's how good, how emotional and hard hitting and action packed and so much more real the second half felt than the first. So all in all, I think I did, as many flaws as I have, that I did like it. I think I'm gonna somewhere between a 7 and a 7.5 out of 10 is where my rating goes. I don't want to start pulling out 2 5s or anything like that, so I'll just say that's my rating.
All right,
me, again, first half I liked, but I could tell it was a bit corny, and just some stuff was off of it. Second half, Mel Gibson nailed it. All the characters were a little bit better, but I thought all the acting was great throughout. And I gotta say, they nailed it in the second half, and the second half was about a 9, the first half was a 7. So I'm gonna settle with an 8.5. That's my rating.
Math is off.
Okay, so
7 and 9.
Yeah, so
8.5's in between. No, it's not. But
just let me give you my rating. So if you guys, I'll admit that that Hacksaw Ridge does have its flaws, particularly with many of the unsubtle stuff from the first half. But the second half for me more than made up for the performances were really good, especially from Andrew Garfield and Vince Vaughn, who for me was the highlight of the first half. and the action scenes were intense and vicious, even to the point, and had a very Saving Private Ryan-esque feel. And I did feel that it did capture the essence of Desmond Doss as this character who's just trying to maintain his values in a harsh setting. Because, well, I'll admit, yes, at times it can get a bit corny and over the top, and yes, at times it's not always perfect, but I do feel it is a decent return to form for Mel Gibson and a pretty good war movie. Just not the Oscar contender that I think everyone's making out.
I don't know. The Oscars, let me just say more than anything, I don't think the Oscars, this is a movie that Oscar people are literally just gonna they could throw, just move themselves up with. It's easily, very likely that this movie gets nominated. I wouldn't give it like average movies get nominated for Oscars all the time. It's no big deal.
I'm gonna give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, so we all,
but the important thing is that now I know that 8 is the number between 7 and 9. I'm still giving it an 8.5, but 8 is the middle of the
So as per usual,
I know that now.
Me and Nick thought, the movie was okay, and Brock just, if you want Brock's rating, just always take our rating down a couple to it. See you sometime soon for Moonlight.
Yeah, we'll see
Peace out.